Good morning, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party, and my buddy Rhett. It looks like she's eagerly awaiting her nut. There you go, baby. And I don't know what kind of nut that is. It's like an oval shaped, smooth skinned nut. So yesterday, I'm working on, well, so right now me and Rhett are working on our ThreeJS application. And it's really going really slow. Um, it could definitely go a lot faster. Like if I would just go like heads down and just like get drop into like the zone and just start coding, I could definitely get stuff done a lot faster. But I'm trying to figure out certain pieces of the puzzle that I don't understand. Also, I'm kind of savoring every sort of aspect of this software development and effort because I've been coding for 40 plus years, and there's just like a lot of little things I do that I wasn't quite aware of that I was doing. And it's kind of nice to just say, sort of slow down. It's what they would call slow down and smell the flowers, just see how things are. Just be a tourist in the coding world as someone, um, as someone who can code. So yesterday I was working on stuff and I was like, man, I don't want to update the DOM unless the DOM needs to be updated. And also, so I don't want to like completely just wipe out my data structures for Angular and then Angular just redraw everything, even though it's the exact same thing, right? Like I don't want that. But that is sort of the way the signals work and all that is that I have to create like a whole new structure, and then it's going to kick off a redraw of the DOM, and then that redraw of the DOM is expensive. And I didn't really quite understand how expensive it was because when I looked at this hash and I started kind of working through the hash code, I was like, my goodness, this is super like this is super seems to be extraordinarily expensive. So like to me, like hashing something was just a general operation. So it would be like multiplying something or whatever. Yes, it's CPU cycles, but not too many. But then when I compared it, like think of, oh, okay, so it if I want to perform a regular operation on something, let's say equate that to like sort of walking into your front door and sitting down in the living room. But then, like, let's say you want to do a hash, that's probably more like walking in the front door, going up 100 floors, and then going into your living room, right? Like, the hash is so much more, seems to be so much more CPU. And I was like, well, yeah, what's the point? Like, why, what am I saving if I'm always going to hash these things? So I kind of went round and round with ChatGPT about that yesterday, and it was like, oh no, no, like, what a if if you're saying that like a hash or doing a hash is like going to 100th floor, then making a DOM up a change to the actual DOM is like flying to the moon. It is so much more CPU intensive than doing a hash, and doing a hash is a tremendous amount of is a huge waste in and of itself. So that those ideas weren't really like that understanding that mental model really wasn't where I was at um, before yesterday. But so, and that's kind of like the whole point is just like that's something I would have blown by and not even like as part of work, I wouldn't ever even contemplate any of that sort of thing. But like for this, I can just kind of chill and understand what's happening. So, anyways, the idea is we want to be able to have a data table, and we already have the data, right? So if I hit F12, and then, oh, look at that. Okay, so we cannot. Okay, so that's probably why that wasn't working. So we can't do a circular structure. So the problem is like, so when we look at this object here, now that I think about it, and this makes total sense, and this is kind of why I'm doing this. A big part of it is like, I do want to avoid this sort of thing. Um, for some reason, one of these guys has, yeah, see, this has an object in it, and then within this object, there appears to be, um, one of these things also now has like a a reference back to itself. So somewhere as we dig into probably one of these uh, things in here, if we were to dig in, we'd find something somewhere that has a reference back up the line. And so we don't want that. Uh, property sequence closes the circle. So we don't, this is a mistake. And I didn't realize it was a mistake till just now. And we basically just found an issue that needs to be fixed. And this really should not be a full object because we can't export this. This just needs to be a description of the object. And it's even like so that's I think that's a good thing. Because this is going to be hard to fix, but it'd be so much harder to fix in the future. All right, so if we look at the number 8, this is a type viz component. And the problem is that a type viz component should just have like the ID, the STID, which it is probably 8 is the ST viz component ID, but we shouldn't have any of these other. See how everything else is just a nice flat, like nothing, no references in it. Like this should be that way too. And then I should have like a viz component service. And we might already have it. It looks like we have a component visualization service. And then this service, if anything is using this viz component anywhere, this service should provide the reference to the object, not the actual um, not be in this data structure. We will, like I said, we can't serialize this. We won't be able to make this to where we can export it and then re-import it later because like all these objects are like in memory objects. So this is going to be like a whole different direction than what I was thinking. And what we need to do is figure out, okay, I guess we just need to, the problem is in this ST publisher service, we do this thing here. So we can't do this. We want to be able to do this though, for sure. Where this has to be done, would like to get away from this, but this has to be done. So until we can do this, we've got a problem. All right, so we have to be able to stringify everything. If we can't stringify it, we can't serialize it. That's just something I just realized. That would be you could have a t-shirt that says that. If you can't stringify it, you can't serialize it. So, whew. I guess what we want to do is inside of so now we're in debug mode, right? And we definitely don't want to push this one off. This one has to be done now. And do we want to do it as part of this sequence table thing? Probably not. It would probably be better to create a whole new story to make that no longer visible, and then we probably need to uh, probably, I don't know, do like a temporary commit on this branch, create a new branch, pull that branch down, fix this issue, merge it into the main branch, and then merge the main branch back into this one. Pop our change. Hopefully we can remember to do that. Pop the change, and then work without this problem. So I'm going to do this. And sometimes I screw this up a lot. You'll see this sometimes in my production code, and it's always very, very embarrassing when I do this. But sometimes I'll do a temp commit and then forget to uncommit it and do it as a regular commit. Um, it's very, very embarrassing when that happens, but I'm going to do it. Git. Let's look at what we got. The other option is a little safer is stashing. I could stash it. I've never really gone wrong with stashing. The problem with stashing is it doesn't stash your new files. And see, these are new files, so I don't think anything with a U in it. So I'm going to do a git commit. And I probably need to come up with a better word other than temp commit or something like that. Like um, uh, eh, temp commit. Temp commit. Detour for. What are we detouring for? We are detouring for complex viz log item. And these things like that, like they just creep into the application constantly. That's why it's so freaking hard to get import export. Every place I've ever worked, like import export was a lot of places that I've ever worked. Being able to import and export data structures for visualizations and stuff like that becomes like is so important, would be so useful, and they can't um, because um, they because you always end up with like this exact situation. All right, so this is 2 days in a row where I came in to do something and then I wasn't able to do it. The other one was just kind of like, okay, let's just push that off and do that later, and but because it didn't really affect anything. Um, but well, it did affect things, but we would rather fix it. Like I was going to implement it with the wrong underlying technology for determining uniqueness of fingerprint, I guess. Um, so I was going to use the wrong technology, and then when I implemented the right technology, then update things appropriately. But so I'm going to go to space and time. Issues, and this is like something that I probably would think is a mistake in a production. Like if there was like teams, I mean, it's just like, hey, we made a bad architectural decision. We got to go. We got to go with it because you got to get stuff done. We've been working for way over a year on this application and haven't really gotten anything done, um, or not much done. We had so much more done last time. That's so funny because look at how this stuff's starting to grow. It's just like this was already um, a rabbit hole, and then that rabbit hole created this rabbit hole, and then this rabbit hole created this rabbit hole, but we're like, okay, we'll take care of that rabbit hole later. But now we have a new rabbit hole that we need to work out, and that is, and like the rabbit holes are endless. You'll never ever not have rabbit holes to go down. The key is to decide which rabbit holes you need to go down and for what reason. And right now, this is a probably more than anything else a learning experience. So but anyway, so in this effort, what we want to do is we want to make sure that viz log has in memory viz component in memory object um, object reference. Please remove. Please remove. Please refactor. because we're gonna have to do like a full refactor around this. I can't remember. We've done this over and over again. I don't know why this one slipped all the way through, but and that is like sort of the benefit to be able to like say, okay, I want to show this as a table. Um, and honestly, like I think most people, if you were going saying, hey, I want to show this as a table, and something went wrong like this, they would just like figure a workaround so that you're not like to maybe remove the something or whatever. But I really do just like would rather just get it working. Um, okay, so let's see, is it this guy here? Console. So I'm just gonna do this. So I can't remember. I think I hit Control. I think I hit Shift Window S to do that. And then like that. Those two pictures should be enough to remind me. If I was writing this for somebody else, I would definitely have to get a lot more wordy, and then they probably wouldn't read it. So then we have to have a conversation where I point things out to them. Um, just sort of human nature right now. Like you can't. It's hard to get enough information out for people to be able to effectively do things, but then people don't want to read either. So you know, you have to kind of figure out. Like you kind of have to set yourself up when you're putting stuff for people to read. You kind of have to be like, um, I am going to um, um, I'm more writing it so that when I'm explaining it to them, we can look at it and I can point out the different things. I notice that a lot of times when I write out things like that, the first few times I kind of have to walk through it with them, but then a lot of people become very like independent. So anyways, I'm going to create this new issue. I'm going to assign it. Wait, what did I do? Okay, I'm going to assign it to myself. I guess I had already created it. I'm going to create a branch. Create that. And then we're going to come over here. We're going to check out our new branch. So we're leaving this task for the moment. And we are out of sync. We have not pushed it. I don't know why this isn't. Maybe I didn't hit copy. Control V. Oh, maybe I already did. No. Enter. Okay. So now we are back to the main branch without any of the routing or anything like that. We haven't lost that code. Hopefully we can come back and use it. Just depends on how damaging this refactor is. I don't think this refactoring is going to be particularly damaging, but now we are sort of in a new mode and we are in the um, so we hit this, add, delete. We're in the debugging mode. Okay, so what we want to do is not have this. This guy is, it's so wild, like I know I didn't want this, but I still did it. Um, Viz component. Okay, so at some point we create a Viz component sequence. And I think if I remember correctly, in here, list service sequence log, set type for stid, associate object to ID. Okay, so I think this might be a good spot. Wherever we associate this object to the ID for the sequence type. And see, this is going to be so much easier. Okay, so what is this? Recyclable sequence service.ts. So I'm going to hit Control and P, recyclable. And that's a perfect example. Like I hit Control and P, I don't even realize that I'm hitting Control and P. I just do it from muscle memory. And so I have to say, oh, I hit Control and P. And then when I'm talking to other people in the future, I'm going to be able to be like, oh, um, do Control and P. And that's the only reason I can do it. Not because I just remember things like that, but because I talk about it in these videos. I feel like making videos about stuff is probably starting to become um, more like kind of going to become a requirement for like all jobs. You know, you're gonna have to be able to talk through why things are happening. Um, but so I know that we only have a few kinds of ST types and that we haven't set up. So um, I should get. I don't understand why it's not doing the little pop up. Like, give me choices. I guess we have to come over here. All right, so we mouse over here. We see that we have an ST. Oh, it's called viz component. Do I just have to type in viz component? No, if being a pain. All right, so it's of sequence types. I'm saying ST type is equal to viz component. Okay, so that's a problem in and of itself. Is that like, is this even something? Is there why? I wonder. Well, okay, we probably shouldn't even log viz component if like it literally is just the viz component. It doesn't seem like there's enough information. See, we have an ST renderer. The ST renderer has an. I'm trying to think where the viz component ends up being used. Where do we even use this? I don't even know that anybody even like maybe the viz component. Oh, ST visualization. Does this have a viz component ID? Yeah, see, I have the viz component ID here. Yeah, it almost feels like this shouldn't even be logged at all. This viz component. Because I don't think that the viz component object would even be exported. I think only like this has the viz component ID. And so like when I'm putting it together later on, like I just know that there's a viz component that this thing used to have a viz component ID of 8. But I don't really actually need a reference to the actual viz component. Like if it doesn't exist, I could probably just create one. Um, so it almost feels like this doesn't even belong here. It almost feels like this doesn't even belong like would I even want to see this in the tree? I don't think so. I don't think I'd want to see it in the well, okay, so the problem is like okay, this is registering the viz component saying, hey, this thing exists. When we delete this thing, but see, these viz components come and go though. They get deleted and undeleted all the time. Like when I change views, this viz component won't even exist anymore. Yeah, I think the problem is the viz component shouldn't even be in in the shouldn't be logged. But for some strange reason, I don't know how, I cannot. Does this need to go in quotes? Yeah, I'm kind of confused. Okay, so this is a sequence type. Oh, that's ST type. Yeah, that's ST type. Okay. Go to implement it. Go to definition. I don't know what the difference between the type definition is and the definition is. So this is one of the things that I don't think should be in here. This is where that sort of that idea of Scrum comes in. Like, so if you had multiple people working, you would have like different sorts of things happening. I'm wondering if this just needs to be imported. Is that the problem? Let's see. Let a colon viz component equal. Okay, so now this thing should complain. Okay, so it knows what a viz component is. It says viz component sequence types and type of viz component have no overlap. I don't think that's true. And it's not even giving me like choices either. And that was kind of like the whole point. What is one of the other ones? ST camera. What if I type in ST camera? Because it's not a. Oh, maybe it's a ST type of. And I think it's type of a function. Okay, and it wants this. I'm so confused. See, over here we say that's of this whole type, ST type. Is it dot? Maybe it's like object. Maybe that's what it is. Type of. ST type. Type. That's so weird that. I don't even understand. Okay, dot type is the. Okay. Okay, so now let's go to our sequence types. Go to definition. And then we have our viz component. And I don't know if viz component has an ST type. And it shouldn't really. Okay, so it has a type, and that is a string, and that should be viz component. So you see, this is one of the attributes of it is type. And I don't think that should go there, so that actually maybe that's what I'll do. Instead, I'm just going to do this because this is not a sequence ST type. It's kind of weird. It should have been pretty obvious to me that's not a sequence ST type since it doesn't have the word letter ST in it. Okay, so this should break stuff. Okay, so let's come back over here and let's just undo this completely. We do not want to log that. I don't know if that's the right answer if that's going to break anything. This is one of those times where I'm really glad that I have the end-to-end tests, because running the various tests should ferret out any issues that might come from that. Okay, this component. Okay, I don't think we need to associate an ST to ID. Now, do I need to create? I might need this. I probably do need that, because there's probably something where I actually do get the actual component ID, but um, and I don't think I tried really hard. I don't think um, I tried really hard, and I'm really glad, because I didn't know exactly why, but I tried really hard to not use the recyclable indexes list. But it's kind of, oh shoot, kind of the whole point to the recyclable index is to recycle them. But that's okay though, because I do know the index to recycle. I know that this component ID is 8 that it has, but I don't want to store that. Or if I do store it, okay, I don't want to store. Okay, that's the thing, is I want a stviz component is what I need, and that stviz component needs whatever information, which is probably literally just like its ID and all that. So I think I need, okay, so that was, go back to the, and so this has got to be an stviz component. Let's go here, go to definition. It's going to be in our interfaces. So this is interesting. I don't know exactly. I'm trying to kind of rise up to like the 30,000 feet and try to understand what's going on here. But basically, this is my description of the things that I need to know for my application of the way I want to view the world. And then I threw this viz component in there, which is not my description of how I want to see the world. And so what I do need to do is kind of create a how I want to see, like the information that I want to know about the viz component that's outside, not necessarily the same as what Angular wants to know, because Angular is the thing that uses the viz component. Well, I need my version of viz component, and I think all I need is the ID, so that I know to delete that ID, to recycle that ID. I think that's literally all I want out of that. Whoo! So let's figure that out. So let's go to our interfaces, and then let's go down to our ST, and we're going to create visualization. See, I have this ST visualization. What is this thing? And see, the ST visualization has the ST viz component ID. Yeah. So in here is probably where I need to, no, I probably need to call one called component. Let's see, where are we at here? So we have our animation, app model, dictionaries 3, and visualization. So we're at 6. It's kind of weird. I don't see how any of these break down any farther. Maybe ST visualizations. See, I think the viz component will also be very much like this one. And then those two are kind of still fall under visualization, or fall under something different. Man, this is hard. See, this is the hard spot. So we are at 6. We're like a couple away from being where we're never going to be able to undo this. What is app model? I'm trying to come up with a good way to sort of group these things. Model. So all this has is a bunch of visualizations. So that is definitely, and the visualizations is what has the component IDs. See, this one, and the new one probably kind of go together. And they probably should be in a folder called like DOM related or browser related. See, I think, see, this one is like very 3 related. Like it's all 3. There's nothing that's not 3 related in this animation one. But the thing is when I come up with something new that needs to be animated, it probably won't be. There'll be probably something that isn't 3 related. So 3 isn't the right place for a model, app model. Maybe app. And then app model and visualization would go in there. Or maybe Angular. Right? Everything in visualization is Angular related, I believe. Yeah, see, it's the width. It's stuff that Angular cares about. I think. I don't know. I can't come up with a good one. All right. So, anyways, what did I do here? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we don't want to do this. We want to create a st viz component. If we're going to have an st viz component ID, we probably should have an st viz component. Okay, so let's go to our package. So I'm going to hit Control and P and start typing in package. And we want to create a interface. What was the last interface? Starting with eyes. So there is an interface. Calculate. So what else we have? Interface model. So this is probably the closest one to what we are trying to do right now. It's always good to get the top comma. And then grab this bottom thing and then come down here. I'm going to go over here and then I'm just going to say stviz component. So the other thing is actually called a viz component. This is called an stviz component. And I almost feel like maybe all these fall under layout. Maybe that layout dash, and then this is going to be component. Components. There might be other components. And then st. How do I do that? Do I usually name it? Okay. No, I just name it st. Okay. St component. So this is my version of, this is how I want to view a component. So if the way Angular wants it is slightly off or does something, this is where I would have that. But for now, literally, I think all I'm going to have is the stid and the type. I think each one of these gets a type or something. Here, I'm just going to hit enter. And then I'm going to run this thing. Is it not compiling at the moment? Save. And then it's complaining about this right here. Did I not save this? Okay, I did not save this. And then wouldn't surprise me if this breaks anything, but now I want to run my new script. So let's go back to the package. And there's like a sort of a tradition that I usually do is whenever I open the package, and I should have done this a second ago. Whenever I open that, I close all the other tabs so that they don't just sort of accumulate. Vm run istviz component. Now what should happen, I believe, is inside of my interfaces. Uh-oh. Oh, there was an error. An stviz component. Stviz, I made a capital O for some reason. It's crazy how you get to where you can see little things like that. My boss actually this week managed to see two spaces inside of a file name, which was like crazy. You know, it was just like, what is wrong with this? Why is this file not working? Blah, 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 blah. He's just like, I figured it out. There's two spaces in the one that's failing. And it's just like, man, how the heck did you see that? But yeah, you get that way. You get to where you're just like, your eyes are very fixated. Okay, so I called this layout. I hope that's right. And I want to take, okay, so we have this. Before I do that, I want to move my app model into layout and visualization into layout. And it should offer to fix anything that will get screwed up by that for me. Just have to kind of give it a second. And I don't know, I hope I'm making it very clear how important, yes, like not letting the number of folders just grow uncontrollably. Like what a huge thing is. So it looks like there's a change in this file and it saved it. I can never figure out when it's going to just make the change and when it's going to, and not save it, or when it's going to save it. Sometimes it does. So this visualization goes into layout. Now this was like a fantasy come true for me because I remember when all this stuff first started, it was just like trying to move things around like this in JavaScript was almost impossible to do without causing bugs. All right, so now we have our components, and this is our stviz component, and basically it has an stviz ID, which is a number, I believe. Let's look at our visualization. Okay, it's an stviz component ID. I think that's it. Is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else that I need to know about it other than its ID. Maybe in the future I'll need more. But so now inside of our library, the thing that creates our libraries, let's see, which I think is we can get to. Man, look at all the changes we've made already. It's crazy. And that's why you don't really want this like sort of buried in another task. Because if we break something in this task, model, viz component. Okay, so here's where we do this. And so we will, instead what we want to do, Dang it, there was something else I wanted to do before this. Anyways, I don't know. Okay, so, oh yeah, that's right. We wanted to, okay, so we did that over, it was like an interface, a dictionaries interface. That's right. Maybe oh, I probably, maybe, no, it's changed. Oh, but this isn't saved. Okay, so I think this is st viz component, right? St viz component. And then we're going to come into our viz component here. Wrong one. We come into our viz component. Where are you? Here. Into the actual component. And then we're going to create a new viz component. St viz component. So const viz component is equal to, it's of type st. Did I name it st viz component? No. Maybe I did. Okay, that's wrong. And let's go ahead and rename this thing. Oh, it's named right though, it looks like. It's saved. Viz component, working tree. And it only has one view because it's there. Okay, so let's start from scratch again. It's kind of weird. You kind of have to go round and round. All right, so visualization service, that's not right. For some reason, we're looking in services. I want to be looking at interfaces. Interfaces, and then visualization, st visualization. And then viz, it's under component, and then this is viz components, but I don't want it to be viz components. I want to rename that to viz component. So I know that's going to throw off my package over there a little bit, that it's going to be not quite accurate, but I think that difference is kind of nice. It's like, oh, okay, that's right. I named it wrong. All right, so then we'll save this. I don't know what's happening here. This tviz component. And then I think I need to, okay, let's start back over again. Need to come into this. So I think I want to add export star from, and this is called a barrel or rollup file. And it's been quite interesting. I think it's under visualization. Is that right? So no, components. I think it was, no, layout is what it was called. Oh, we are in layout. Okay, so in layout we have our components. And inside of components, we have our stviz component. And then a semicolon. Semicolon is absolutely not required. Okay, so now we want our stviz component equal to, and we know that all it really has is an ID. I think it was stviz ID, right? Is that, and then that is equal to our this dot st is component ID. And then instead of this, we're going to update this. And I don't know if there's going to be any problems. And instead of this, we want st is component. And now it's upset because in our types of our dictionaries, oh, wrong one, dictionary-based dictionaries, we want this to be stviz component. And we want to pull this in up here. I don't know if this could break anything. I don't think so. And do I have something that I don't need anymore? Oh, it seemed like it, I guess it got rid, oh no, viz component import. Don't think I need this one anymore. It says I do though. Oh, okay, so we need it here. Okay, so we do have a viz component dictionary already. So that's good. I thought we did. All right. Now, npm. I think we're already started though. So let's look in here, add viz, F12. Boom. Yeah. So all we have is our viz. We need our type. Okay. And that's an stviz component. So that's good to see. Where are you? Where are you? All right, so I want to go to my interfaces. And I want to go into my viz, my stviz component, my brand new stviz. We want an st type. I think it was. I don't know how we do that. Actually, let's go look at this one. See. Oh, okay, so we just want a type. And I'm guessing that is very highly. And then this type has to be the word stviz component. Now we're very, 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 very much over engineering this piece right here. But the thing is when we're over engineering it, but we're engineering it to be consistent for consistency. So it's kind of a bummer. You know, you don't really want to have to over engineer things, but you know, unfortunately, like sometimes if you have a whole bunch of things, you kind of need to add like a extra to something just so that it can be consistent with. And we only have one choice. Yeah. All right, let's try this now. And see, TypeScript has just absolutely saved us on all of this over and over again. It's made debugging a lot faster. Okay, so now they all have a type. It's kind of funny that this one, is it? I wonder if that's because since we're here, um, I wonder if I were to swap these two, if in the debugger. Now this is obviously a non-supported feature. Like it's great. Like if it shows it properly with the type there because we made this change, that's fantastic. But you know, it's not like something you can count on to always work that way and always work the same. And I know it's still messed up. I don't know if it almost feels like it didn't pick up the change. I don't know what to do. I think maybe I don't want to kill the whole thing, but I do want to force a change. Okay, so these are interfaces. Inside of our component. Okay, so this happens inside of the component. I'm just curious if now that should force a whole brand new build. Okay, F12. Now, see, it's still backwards. I don't know why this one's backwards. Okay, I'm going to kill this, start it back up again. It does take a while, but I'm just curious. Or, oh, I wonder if it's because of the order that I put it in here. That'll be interesting. These are sort of the like this is how you get like to where you get the pro tips. And the pro tips is really what sort of separates people. You know, once you start getting like a lot of these clever pro tips, then you can do that. It is a little chilly in here, but I might just like in a t-shirt. But you know, I always worry about Rhett, but she looks good. She looks good. She looks happy and satisfied. Now you have to be careful with birds because birds will not show their six. Like with dogs, you can always, you know, touch their nose and see if their nose is dry. If their nose is dry, you know, they're probably not feeling well. Okay, so that's still backwards. So I want to try this. Because to be honest with you, I do, like if I do create a log, it's probably not going to go to production. But it is like helpful to me if I understand just the subtleties of how things work. Okay, so I did rebuild that, even though all I did was swap those around. That's interesting. Okay, so looks like the way you create when you create the object, the way you create it dictates how this. But I think that's a lot better, and I think this stviz component is a lot better, and I don't think um, we'll have to do any rewrites. I think everything will work. I don't. I guess npm run test. I can't see how this could possibly break. I don't see it though. I can't see how this could break our 100% coverage. And then I'm going to add another terminal. And then I'm just going to say npm run Cypress and run. So we'll just see if any of the tests break. We don't have to actually see them run. We can just let Cypress run them headless and just let us know if something failed or not. Oh, shoot. I need to get rid of this alert. That's probably going to help a lot. And we just need to wait for these tests. And I will say that like right now there would be this deep sort of fear that I would have if it wasn't for unit tests and end-to-end tests, especially end-to-end tests. Um, okay, so unit tests are coming up. I don't know if they have the alert. I think if the alert's in there, it will pop up in here. So I don't think the unit tests. So yeah, so everything's good on unit tests. And so we're going to kill this. And we're going to wait for our Cypress tests to give us a result. This is probably the first time I've been like, you know what, I'm comfortable. Just run the Cypress test, make sure everything works. Oh wow, it stopped raining. It's pretty cold out. It's 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which isn't I guess, particularly cold, but it's very, very wet. It's been raining all morning. We were hoping to play frisbee today at 2 o'clock, but it is soaking wet out there. There's no way that the fields are going to be playable at 2 o'clock. Okay, so it looks like we are running. We are running in Electron headless. We have 10 specs, it says. 10 specifications. Let's see, homepage look good. Now it's running. Now this would go a lot faster if I didn't have those long breaks in there. Okay, so it looks like number 2, test 2 went good. Spacing went well. Passed, I guess passed is the right word. Keyboard. Resize. I think resize has a ton of like 2-second waits in there. It's kind of funny. I think most places that are like, okay, we want to get our end-to-end tests, we want to, we want, we want, like they think that adding something like Cypress or unit tests is like kind of like adding a feat, like when you go to get a car wash and saying, oh, I want to get this extra thing. Okay, so it looks like everything worked. I want to get this extra thing, so I'm just going to add it on. But if you don't do it right, if you don't like, if you don't have a really good plan and then kind of that plan gets stuck to, you know, these cause more problems than benefit, you know. So honestly, like if ChatGPT, if agentic coding was so great, like if it was any even 1/10, even half as good as all the experts claim it is, you could say, hey, write me Cypress to test this. Here's the code base, write me some Cypress tests to end-to-end test this stuff, and it would just be able to just do it for you. And then you don't have any risk. You can just write and have it write out all your end-to-end tests. But until it can do that, I'm not hearing it. You know, I just think that that is a bare minimum um, for competency. But anyways, it looks like that is done. I'm shocked that we have 10 changes. So let's just kind of go through our changes, make sure they all make sense. Just start all over. Just start all over. Is that what you're saying, right? Just start all over. There's something so freeing about starting all over, but um, I don't see any reason that we would start all over at this point. I think that the code is really, it's the applications, the progress is very, very slow, but the code is super solid. Git commit -n. Hey, stop scratching up my chair. And then this is video. I don't know. This video 390. You think? You think? I'm going off screen to just to look at my. Basically, I always keep one old video on my hard drive. My hard drive gets full. So this is 397. So close to video 400. Video 397. Issue 25. And then basically removes what are we removing? We're removing a in memory component from logging. And I will say this alone, to me, justifies taking a side trip to do the logging as opposed to just moving on towards delete, because honestly, this couldn't happen. This is not. We need. Well, I don't know. I guess this isn't necessary. We could have gone without it, but we need to be able to validate what it is. Um, and I do think there will be some things that we want to keep um, in our visualization information that isn't going to be available anywhere else. One good example would be like if you get a font and you have some text in a ThreeJS thing, like ThreeJS doesn't store that font. So I need some place to say, hey, this is a mesh with this font, and this might be the place. Probably not. Well, but I don't know. I'm sure there will be information that I want to keep in here that isn't really related, but I do want it to persist through the next time when we import it. So, git add dot, and then hit the up button. I do that all the time. That is just like, I can't believe how often I do that. Okay, so we're going to push that. And then what's going to hop on is we're going to go back over here. And we should get like a little pop-up. This is, probably have to go to the code. It's going to be like, hey man, you pushed something. Do you want to create, I love you too? You want to create a pull request? And it's like, yeah, hell yeah, heck yeah, bro. Brah. Let's create a pull request. I think it all looks good. You normally don't get to do that. Normally what would happen is you would get someone else's pull request. That was a weird sound. You get someone else's pull request, and then you have to go over their code and kind of figure out what's going on. So I'm assigning that one to myself. I'll merge it, confirm it. It's always a good idea to do those sorts of assigning things because it's hard to remember things in the future. And then like in the future, you might be like, who the heck brought this in? Oh, wait, that was me. Um, if you've never experienced that before, been like, who wrote this crappy code? I can't believe how horrible this code is. And then figured out that it was you. You're not a senior yet because that happens a lot. All right, so now we have it. It's merged. So what we want to do now is we want to go to the main. I believe it's called main. And we want to do a pull. And then we want to go back to our code. And I can't remember what our old branch is that we were just working on. But we've pulled all the latest code into the main branch locally at this point. Issues. Okay, so this is what we were working on. So let's click on this one. And this is number 22. So let's come over here and just type in 22 up here. So I just hit this little link down here. Oh, it's behind me. There's like a little link that has the name of the branch in it. And you can click on that and then you'll get this little pop-up up here. And so, and then if you type in a number, it will filter it. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to do a git pop and we want to undo the last commit. So if we say git log right now, what you'll see is that we have this detour for complex login item. So we don't want that commit to actually get to production. So we want to say git, what is it? Git revert? Git, I can't believe I can't remember how to do this. Git. I cannot. And it's like I do this all the time, literally 2 or 3 times a week. I guess we don't even, you know what? Let's not use ChatGPT. Let's see what happens if we go into Google. We say git undo as commit. I remember when I used to look this up like daily. Okay, get reset. That's what I want. Get reset head. I think it's all caps. And then little tilde and one. I don't know. That's how you do it. I believe that one is saying how far to go back. And so when we do this, what should happen? So now we're like we were. I believe these are staged. I don't know. Let's do a get status. So we're basically, yeah, nothing's even changed. Okay, sometimes they'll come back, they'll be staged, and sometimes they're not. So now what I'll typically try to do, unless it's just too crazy, I'll do like a get stash. We are in like dangerous territory right now. Like it is very possible. There's been many times where like all the work I did, I pretty much have to throw away. Um, because when I go to merge main back into my code, it's screwed up. But I'm going to get stash. And so basically all the code is in the stash. As you see, like the new files don't get stashed though, which I think is a pain in the butt. If you stage them, I think you can then stash them and then they'll go. But I'm going to say get merge and I'm going to say main and I'm going to say dash dash no dash fast forward. I believe that's how I usually do that. And what this should do is it should bring all the code that we just pushed into main into this branch. And it did, and there was no conflicts. A lot of times you'll get conflicts at that point. Now here's another high chance of getting a get conflict is say get and if you get a get conflict at that point, oh boy, you got some sort of crazy problem because that means it's conflicting with something that you added brand new, which means there's some sort of serious miscommunication going on in all likelihood. But get stash pop, this is just one of many ways to do this. And this will bring back the code that we just pushed. And now we're back to that. Now, are we still running? Okay. Uh-oh. We did have apparently we had a merge issue. Okay, so we do have a merge issue. What I will normally do is I'll just search for this in this situation. I don't know how I missed that when we did all of our stuff, but what we need to do, gosh, this sucks, is we're going to search for that set of arrows, right? So actually I don't see, maybe it's like this. I don't know why I can't find it. This doesn't look like we have any, I don't know what is happening now. Now this is weird. Okay. So it is upset because it's saying that in this layout class, component layout class, that it's finding a bunch of arrows. And those arrows mean that there's a conflict. But we're not seeing any arrows when I do a search. So what I'm going to try is this. I'm going to just copy this little nent layout class. I'm going to hit that, and I'm going to hit Control and P. This is a stab in the dark. I'm not 100% sure that this is going to work. Now it's saying that in here, that it's finding a bunch of these, but I don't see them inside of JSON. So I don't know what's happening here. This is weird. JSON parser, double quoted property name in JSON at while component layout class. So it's saying that something was double quoted, and we got some serious issues here. What's going on here? What's going on here? Okay, so the next thing, I guess, I don't know. I'm just going to go. So it's saying these are the merge changes. Oh, here we go. This is weird. All right, so we have this. I don't know. I've definitely gotten in some weird thing, and I guess the transpiler doesn't know exactly how to see stuff in JSON. But basically, we created a new component layout, and they're in the same place, and they're going to be missing a comma. So comma, comma. So you notice that everything has a comma. These two were the last thing. This is where it'd be nice. This is why being able to add commas to the last thing in a JSON is really nice. So we're going to accept both changes. Then we're going to put a comma here. We're going to save this. And then we're going to stage it. Then we're going to try to start this up again. And see, I kind of wish, well, I don't know. I was going to say, I wish I could have done that commit because I don't think I'm going to commit it like this. Okay, so now we are working again. Let's add one of these and just see if we get that redundant. So we do not have that redundancy issue. Sure. Boom. And then data entities. And we are back. And for some reason we lost our thing, which is a huge problem. I don't know what is happening here on why we are losing our, well, we didn't lose it that time. Oh, I wonder, oh, I bet you it's redrawing the whole. So you notice when we add, so we are back to where we were on Friday. Um, which is interesting. So if I go like this, we have two, and then I hit back and it stays. Oh, but we did not get R2. Go back here, hit the back button. We add one here. Yeah, we still don't. But if we go back here, we'll have three. All right. So anyways, we're back to where we were. We don't have that cyclic JSON error, so that's good. And that is that. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.